$10. That's what Della Wainwright paid for a building. I know how that sounds. I'm going to say it again because I don't think it landed right. December 19th, 9 degrees below zero, a corrugated steel shed, bleeding orange rust, chained to the back of a flatbed truck on Dort Highway in Flint, Michigan. $10. And none of that is even the interesting part. The interesting part is what she did to the rust. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Della Wainwright is 47 years old. Auburn hair that gave up pretending about 2 inches ago, silver roots coming in hard, the whole mess pulled into a side ponytail held with a stripped piece of copper wire she found in a gutter. There's a scar across her left eyebrow, a white line through the hair that doesn't grow back anymore. Hazel eyes, knuckles scarred from work, from cold, from the 100 small violences of living outside. Before the tent, before the car, before the rental, there was a job at a parts supplier, a savings account, a version of her life that looked like anyone else's. Then the layoff, then savings that lasted 4 months, then the rental on Court Street she couldn't keep, then sleeping in her Dodge Neon until the transmission died in a Rite Aid parking lot in July heat, then the camps along the river, then winter. By December, she'd been sleeping under a tarp stitched to a shopping cart for 11 weeks. Temperature drops to 9 below zero, and you stop thinking about tomorrow. You think about the next 4 hours. Dale was a scrap hauler with a flatbed truck and a shed he couldn't sell. 8 feet by 10 feet. Galvanized steel that had given up galvanizing on about 60% of the surface. Rust blooming in patches like some terminal skin disease. 2 fist-sized holes in opposite corners. Smaller perforations scattered across the walls. When you pushed on the worst panel with your thumb, orange flakes came off on your skin like dried paprika. It came off the truck with a sound like a dumpster falling from a height. Curtis, another unhoused man who'd been living under the Kearsley Street overpass, watched Della hand over $10 from the $16.50 she'd gotten from returning cans in a church envelope. He said, "Girl, you just bought a coffin." Everyone watching thought he was right. Before we go further, you need to understand what rust is. Not metaphorically, chemically. Rust is iron dying. It's iron losing electrons to oxygen in the presence of moisture. Iron oxide. The reaction is self-perpetuating. Each layer of rust is porous. It holds water. It pulls in more oxygen. Each layer flakes away and exposes fresh iron underneath. Each layer keeps the reaction running. Rust is a disease that spreads. And Della had just bought a building that was bleeding out, atom by atom. And here's where it gets good. 3 days later, Terrence, an HVAC technician who camped 3 blocks east, told her about OSPHO. Phosphoric acid in a plastic bottle, $6 at a hardware store discount bin. The chemistry is simple and it's permanent. Phosphoric acid reacts with iron oxide and converts it into iron phosphate. Iron phosphate is stable. It's gray. It's inert. It doesn't flake. It doesn't hold moisture. The reaction stops. Della brushed it on with a paintbrush someone had left in a dumpster behind a True Value. Within minutes, the orange rust turned black, then gray. The surface stopped weeping. The disease became the cure. Now the build begins. Problem 1, the holes. 2 fist-sized, a dozen smaller. Wind chill turns 9 below into something that will kill you in your sleep. Solution, flattened aluminum cans. 47 cans collected over 5 days. Pop rivets from a junkyard, $2.50. Each hole sealed with overlapping aluminum patches. The wind stopped coming through. Problem 2, the floor. Bare frozen ground. Your body at 98 degrees touching earth at 34 degrees. Heat travels in a straight line through your hips, your spine, your shoulders. All night long. Conduction will drain you. Solution, pallet wood from behind a True Value, laid flat. Rigid foam insulation scraps, $8 from someone on Craigslist downsizing a garage renovation. The wood breaks contact with the ground. The foam stops the cold from rising. A thermal break. Problem 3, the walls. Bare metal is a radiator in reverse. It drinks your heat and gives it to the winter. Solution, polyiso insulation boards. Dumpster dive from a construction site on Industrial Avenue. Foil backing on one side. Foil faces inward to reflect radiant heat back into the room. R value of 12. Not enough to pass code. Enough to mean the difference between a gas station parking lot and the inside of the gas station. Problem 4. Heat. January. Single-digit nights. Solution. A Mr. Heater Buddy, $12 at Goodwill. Propane canister, $7. A carbon monoxide detector, $9. Because propane heat in a sealed box will kill you if you're careless. She ran it for 3 hours the first night. The room reached 58 degrees, and she cried. Not because she was sad, because she was warm, and she hadn't been warm since August. I want to sit with that for a second. 58 degrees. That's not warm by any normal standard. That's the temperature you'd complain about in someone else's house. But when you've been cold for 4 months straight, when your bones ache from shivering in your sleep, when you wake up with ice in your hair, 58 degrees is a miracle. Problem 5. Light. Winter dark by 5 p.m. Solution. A marine battery from a pawn shop, $18. 12-volt LED strips, $4.50. A small solar panel, 20 watts, gifted by Jean, a demolition foreman who'd seen her working and didn't ask questions. 6 hours of light per charge. Enough to read. Enough to see your hands. Problem 6. Water. No plumbing. No utility hookup. Solution. Rain catchment. 80 square feet of roof. Flint gets 30 inches of rain per year. Simple math gives 1,500 gallons of potential capture annually. A food-grade barrel free from behind a shuttered canning facility. A Sawyer squeeze filter, $9 on sporting goods clearance. She had drinking water. Curtis kept a ledger on a piece of cardboard. Shack, 10. Osfo, 6. Rivets and cans, $2.50. Foam, 8. Heater, 12. Propane, 7. Carbon monoxide detector, 9. Battery, 18. LEDs, $4.50. Solar panel gift. Filter, 9. Total so far, $74.50. Later, she added a better roof seal, more insulation, a second propane canister, another battery. Total with improvements, $141.50. The average American spends more than that on coffee in a month. Something bothers me about this story. It shouldn't work this well. This isn't a code. There's no foundation, no permit. If the city finds it, they'll red tag it and bulldoze it in a week. This isn't a house you can sell or insure or will to someone. It's provisional, temporary, built on borrowed land behind an abandoned factory. But for Della, temporary is exactly $141 better than the alternative. 3 months in, she told me something. She said a home isn't an address, it's an assembly. Everything screws together, everything comes apart. If she has to move, she unbolts the battery, pulls the panels, rolls up the insulation, and she's gone in 2 hours. She's not homeless. She's just between locations. Remember the OSFO. Phosphoric acid doesn't remove rust. It converts iron oxide into iron phosphate. It turns the disease into protection. Della was 47, unemployed, unhoused. Told by 3 shelters she didn't qualify because she had no kids and no documented disability. The world looked at her and saw rust, something to scrape off, something finished. But she didn't remove herself. She converted. Atom by atom, she built a shell the cold couldn't crack. By spring, tomatoes were growing in a bucket outside the door. The shed still stood. She taught 7 other people the same method. 4 more structures scattered across the Buick City footprint now, each one slightly different. Curtis built one with a wood stove. Someone else rigged a rainwater shower. The idea spread, not as a movement, just as a fact. If you can solve one problem, you can solve the next one. Last thing. Della kept her mother's photo in a Ziploc bag tucked inside her coat. The bag kept it dry. But a frame is something you buy when you believe you have a wall to put it on. When you believe the wall will still be there tomorrow. Della didn't know if the wall would be there tomorrow. She bought the frame anyway.